fantabulous Dallas Design District. I am Pugs Moran. We do this show every Monday through Friday, around about 12 o'clock. It's never right at 12. Sometimes it's right at 12. I think last week we did a show that started right at 12. But the point is this, usually around this time, a couple of minutes after, whatever, we do this show. What is this show? It's a rant. It is an unscripted. I want shrimp. That's what that was. It is an unscripted, untelepromptered stream of consciousness, current events rant performed by a middle-aged narcissist. That's me. Hi, everybody. Pugs Moran. Like, follow, subscribe to the show, do all that kind of stuff. How does the show work? Well, I just sit here. I spend all morning putting together the day's news, hot topics, hot takes, all that good stuff. And then at noon, I just sort of start stream of consciousness. It's just vomiting them out. Now, what does that mean? That means no breaks. That means no, hey, let's check traffic. No, we don't play songs. We don't do commercials, nothing like that. It's just me, uninterrupted, for the next couple of hours talking about the world. We do the show in 4 distinct segments. We call them quarters. The first quarter, we call that antecedently on this day. It's a fancy way of saying this day in history. You know what that is. Then we go into birthdays, talk about people who were born on this day, notable people, celebrities, if you will. And then we decide, are they cool or do they suck? And a lot of times they suck. Then we go on to quarter 3, which is the deads. These are kind of like birthdays, but the opposite. And here's the added twist. With the deads, we look at these people and we decide their fate. Did they go to heaven or did they go to hell? That's how quarter 3 plays out. Quarter 4 is just all the hot topics, current events, and everything that people are talking about. I'm going to give you all the information that you need to get through your day without being accosted by some stranger who's going to stop you in line at 7-Eleven and say, hey, did you hear about? And then you're an honest Joe, so you're going to say, no, I didn't hear about that, not really thinking downfield, which means you're now stuck there for the next few minutes listening to this total stranger tell you about the Arlington Cemetery controversy. You don't want that. Come here. I'll give it to you first. I'll tell you exactly what they're saying, and then you'll have a response. What else? What else do we do on this show? We have an executive producer because, as we like to point out, this show, 3 years now, it's been on every single day. It runs on your gratuities. So thank you so much to the people who help this show out, the people who keep the show going with tips. Today we have executive producers. We've got a tag team. The best directorial teams in Hollywood are tags. Same goes for daily current event streams. Cam and Peter, thank you both so much for helping out the show. As I pointed out, there's about 15 of you, 10 to 15 of you that just keep this show going every month. Cam and Peter are definitely in that group, so thank you so much. Additionally, I'm going to have this scrolling if you're so moved. Many of you know my partner of a long, long time, decades. Kelly Moore passed away a couple of weeks ago. There is a GoFundMe for her kids. We're going to leave that up right there, just in case you want. You know, I'm going to take this one down. Oh, no, Cam and Peter can stay. That's right. Okay. I'll leave it down there at the bottom if you're so inclined. You can go check that out. GoFundMe.com. All you got to do is search In Loving Memory of Kelly Moore. Or you can just go to Pugs and Kelly Show, and that'll take you, it's a hyperlink. It'll take you right to the GoFundMe page. All right, small talk segment. Small talk. How do we do the small talk? That's right. We make it really big so I look small. There we go. Okay, hold on. All right, small talk segment. This is even better. Oh, look at this. Okay, small talk segment. Okay. Let's see here. We open up each and every show with the things that are on the top of my mind. We call it small talk. First and foremost, today is my son's first game. High school not of high school football. It's his first game of the season. And there are some. So I go to this website, right? I go to this website that has the game schedule, the times, and how to buy tickets. But here's the problem. The website that I go to that is run by the high school's football booster club is absolute garbage. It's never right. It wasn't right ever last week. They have when you click on the teams, hey, it's the booster club. Send us your money. We're never going to update the website that you use on a day-to-day basis to track the progress of your kids and find games. But send us your money. Send us your money. Or the only thing I need from the Booster Club is to maintain a website that tells me on what field the team will be playing and at what time. They can't even do that right. In addition to that, they've got a whole roster. They're like, meet the teams. And it's always the team from last year. Always the team from it'll be the team from last year until like week 6. Okay. So we got some construction going on. That's okay. If it doesn't bother you, it doesn't bother me. This is a working studio. Small talk, it pisses me off. All right. So I don't know. The website that I use, the Booster Club website, the website that, is always asking us for money, it's totally useless. So this morning I panicked and I had to reach out to a bunch of other parents, including the other parent of my son, who came to the rescue and was like, yeah, the coach sent us this morning. And it's a link and it says the game. But here's the problem. The game today is now an hour earlier than it had said on the Boosters website, okay? It was an hour earlier. Now, granted, on the Boosters website, it had the game starting at 6:30 tonight, and it also had another game starting at 6:30 on the same field. That's just par for the course with that stupid Booster website. 2 games starting at the same time, so that's why I panicked. And as it turns out, it's a 5:30 game, which screws up everything because for the last 2 days, I've been planning on the game starting at 6:30, and ugh. All right, that's going to do it for small talk today. There you go, small talk. I'm angry. Also a little nervous. A little nervous about the game. It's in these moments as a parent where you watch your kid perform. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. If your kid's a spelling bee champion, if your kid's a mathlete, he's an actor, he's a basketball player, he's a football player, whatever, it doesn't matter. But it's these moments where the rubber hits the road today at 5:30. My kid has been working so hard on his snaps and not his regular shotguns. I mean, he's a good center. He can do a regular shotgun and he can do a regular under center snap. That's fine. But he's been working really hard the last year on his long snaps for punts and for field goals and extra points and that kind of stuff. Now, tonight at 5:30, he's going to get an opportunity to do that in front of a whole bunch of people. All the practice is going to come to fruition tonight at some point where they're going to have like 4th and 4 and they're going to decide to punt. And my kid's going to come out there for the first time as the official long snapper. And he's going to have to do what he's been practicing doing forever. And I am sick to my stomach. I am sick to my stomach about it. He's probably not, because he's probably got his mom's cool. His mom's like real competitive and like real. And that's partly why he's so good at sports. And I was not, but his mom was. But man, I am sick to my stomach. I'm like, because here's the problem with him. The last couple of weeks that we've been practicing the snaps again, we took a couple of months off, but the last couple of weeks where we've been practicing long snaps again, I've noticed that if we're at a park and he's not thinking about it and he's just relying on muscle memory, he's fucking perfect. Tight spirals, 14, 15 yards, perfect, right on the money. Fast, tight. But if like 2 girls walk by, like all of a sudden it's like, wait a second, what are you doing? What are you doing? Or if there's like somebody standing there watching him, not every time he dials in, but I have noticed that sometimes, he does succumb to an added, distraction that might be going on. And even in those moments, they're not like, crazy, stupid, bad snaps where it goes 10 feet over the guy's head and he's chasing it back into the end zone. It's never like that bad, but just, so as I say, I'm sick to my stomach. Although I know who his mother is. So I also looked at that and I'm like, this is all you. This is where you got to dial in. This is where your genetic contribution to him must take over mine. Because I'm telling you, I would sail at 10 feet over the dude's head. I would just crumble under the pressure. I'm not a big shot Johnny. That's not who I am. Don't put me in there in the big moment. I'm going to think about everything and yeah, Peter says priceless moments in life. They are, but it doesn't mean that they don't really, really make you feel weird, Anyway, that's today. That's tonight. So we're going to go to that and I'll have a full update. Now, last year, if you remember, the team went undefeated. We were very proud, very undefeated, and they just destroyed everybody. So now let's see. Let's see what the team is this year. I got a new quarterback. It's another thing. I'm not a dad who argues with the coach. As a matter of fact, the only thing I've ever said to the coach was, hey, coach, appreciate you giving your time. That's it. That's all I've ever said to the coach. Not true. He's talked to me about other things because it turns out the coach is a Bears fan and my son is a Bears fan and he knows that I'm me, his dad is a Bears fan. So we've had Bear conversations, but that's about it. But I'm never going to, get on the coach about I'm very distracted. Can you tell? I'm just so distracted today. I'm sorry. But we're going to get into it. All right, let's dial in, folks. Electric Outcast said, I was thinking the same thing. Your son is probably less nervous than you. Yeah, let's hope so. That is the hope. God. His mom's like totally dialed. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. I'm like, are you sure he's going to be fine? All right. Anyway, that's it. All right. What do you say we get started here? Peter says, I was very verbal when my daughter played soccer. I'm not that. I'm like, I don't want to be that guy. What was I going to say? There was something I wanted to say. Yeah, they were really good last year. Oh, yeah, here's the thing. Here's the thing that bothers me. And this is what I wouldn't say to the coach. So last year, they were undefeated. And the starting quarterback was hurt all year. So all we really saw was the backup quarterback last year. This little kid. I called him the little Kyler Murray kid. He was untackleable. They couldn't tackle him. His throws were all right. He completed some passes, but I don't care. It was freshman football. This kid was a little water bug out there, and every time he touched the ball or every time he decided to bail and run, he gained 15 yards. He was the backup. And then at the end of the season, the original starting quarterback came back, and he came back, and they still won their games, but they were decidedly less exciting. They were not as exciting. So I've been like, when's that little kid going to get a chance again? That little kid was awesome. That kid was fun. So now this season, my son tells me a couple of weeks back, he's like, yeah, we got a new quarterback. I'm like, oh, which one? You going with the little kid? You going with the little Kyler Murray kid? He's like, no, he's a receiver now. I'm like, ugh, okay, whatever. So who's the new quarterback? And they're like, oh, some new kid transferred in. And I'm like, well, what's he like? Is he like a dual threat? He's like, no, he's just got a cannon arm. I'm like, oh, God. Y'all can't really catch. I mean, that's the problem with like younger. Well, I guess you got to develop that cannon arm somewhere. So we'll see. They got a new quarterback. They're very excited. They put a new quarterback on a team that was undefeated last year. You know who's going to get blamed if things start to go wrong, right? It's going to be like, why is the new kid there? What about that little kid you got playing flanker back? He was pretty good last year. Can he play quarterback? All right, we're going to be done. Electric Outcast says, my high school football team sucked the entire time I was there. Yeah, mine too. Mine blew. I mean, like my team historically blew. My team was not a football school. I went to Andrew High School. I don't know if they've ever gotten good, but we were not good. We were terrible. We were good at baseball. We were good at baseball, wrestling, and apparently theater. Our theater department was like world class, and our baseball team was like always contending for state. Football and basketball, though, not so much. Wrestling too. We had one kid on our wrestling team who went all 4 years without getting beaten. One state all 4 years. The team won state all 4 years. Our wrestling team is legendary. Football, not so much. KB can tell you about that. KB went to same high school. We were terrible at the two main sports, basketball and football. All right, let's get started. It is the Rant. I am Pugs Moran. It is the 29th day of August, year of our Lord, 2024. I don't know how many days are left, and I don't know how many days we've been through. I didn't do that today. Can you look at that? I failed. I just looked down at my notes, and I went, usually I make that notation. I didn't make that notation today. All right, let's get started with quarter one. We call it antecedently on this day. Really what it is previously on August the 29th. Antecedently on this day in 1831, Michael Faraday discovers electromagnetic induction. In that, it's a Faraday cage, right? And now what that is? You ever done that? They got one at the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago. I remember you go in there and it makes your hair stand on end, and it's like you get lightning bolts through your hand. It's pretty cool. I don't know. Apparently that's an important thing that was discovered. I don't understand any of it other than it makes your hair staticky. Antecedently on this day in 1898, the first of a couple major corporations founded on this day. 1898, the Goodyear Tire Company is founded in Akron, Ohio. Goodyear Tires. That's a dude's name, right? Charles Goodyear? It's a dude's name? Okay, there you go. Moving on. Antecedently on this day in the year 1949, the Soviet atomic bomb project. The Soviet Union tests its first atomic bomb, known as First Lightning or Joe 1. I don't like that. I don't like calling it Joe 1, especially since American soldiers were called G.I. Joes. I don't like that. Anyway, it was on this day the Soviets finally got their little recipe right, and they blew up an atomic bomb. On this day, antecedently, in the year 1966, the Beatles performed their last concert before playing On this day in 1966, the Beatles performed their last concert before paying fans. This occurred at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. That's like the only color Beatles footage that we have from their big live shows. Because oftentimes you see their first show in their American tour, which was at Shea Stadium, and that was black and white. But then you see like the San Francisco Candlestick concert footage, which was their last in America, and that's in color. Think about that. I mean, there were just no rules for bands back then. This band, 1966, 3 years after they became popular in November of 1963, right around the time of JFK assassination. So the Beatles became popular in 1963, and they played their last concert in 1966. 3 years. I've been doing this show now longer than the Beatles were known to play live. Look at that. 3 years. They didn't play live. On this day, antecedently in the year 1991, the Supreme Soviet of the Soviet Union suspends all activities of the Soviet Communist Party. They broke up the Communist Party in Russia. We won. This is the day we won the Cold War. That's what happened. They ended communism in the Soviet Union on this day in 1991. All right, I told you earlier that a couple of big companies were founded on this day. Antecedently, on this day in 1997, Netflix is launched as an internet DVD rental service. And, they were still renting DVDs until a couple of years ago. And I know this because my friend Gary, God bless him, he's dead now. My friend Gary, this is probably going to be 2019. So let's say 2019. 2019, I'm sitting in, Gary owned a music studio, and he was a producer. He was a hip hop producer. He was this old white, not old, he was probably 5 years older than me, but he was this older white blues musician. He used to play in REO Speedwagon. That was his first when he was a kid. He left the band just before they got big, but whatever, made enough money to start a music studio, and he never looked back. My point is this. He was known for his blues licks. He was a blues guitar player. And he owned this studio in this lily white suburb in the Chicago area, on the southwest suburbs of Chicago, Blue Heron Studios. And he became the place for up and coming hip hop guys. They all wanted to be recorded by Gary, probably because he was a multi-instrumentalist, and a lot of them loved his blues guitar licks, and they would use him as hooks and stuff like that. But whatever. Anyway, he had a really cool scene going. Hear what was totally uncool about him. And this is what's so funny about Gary. He was like the coolest 57, 58-year-old dude you ever met. Lifelong musician in the music business. I've talked about him before. Like, one of his best friends was Chris Squire. Just like, he's just a really cool guy who just lives this anonymous life in a suburb with this really kick-ass recording studio in the back. So that's all cool about him. I remember sitting in his kitchen. I looked at his dining room table. And I go, are those fucking Netflix videos? And he goes, yeah. He goes, I still get Netflix videos every week. I sign up online and they send them to me. Mind you, this is 2019. I'm like, dude, stop it. I didn't know what to say to him. I'm like, and he's not somebody who's not tech forward. He runs a recording studio. He's got all the latest stuff, and he's got flat screens and all that. And he's a computer whiz. But for some reason, he just held on to it. It became a part of his weekly thing that he would look forward to getting the Netflix videos in the mail. God love him. Anyway, it was on this day in 1997 that Netflix launched as an internet DVD rental service. On this day, antecedently in the year 2005, Hurricane Katrina devastates much of the U.S. Gulf Coast from Louisiana to Florida, killed up to 1,836 people, and caused $125 billion in damages. Hurricane Katrina. Now, I guess, do I have a false memory of Hurricane Katrina? Or did the NFL football season used to start earlier? Did the NFL football season used to start around this time? I think maybe it did. Didn't they added a preseason game? There used to only be 3, but now there's 4. Or maybe they got rid of a preseason game. I don't know. Point is this. My memory of Hurricane Katrina is sitting in a bar on a Sunday night after watching football all day, watching Sunday Night Football be interrupted by coverage of, New Orleans getting blasted. I swear to God, I will always have the memory of watching NFL football on a Sunday night while Katrina was kicking the shit out of Louisiana. And is that wrong? Because football season hasn't started yet, but it starts in like 10 days or I guess 7-8 days if you count the Thursday game. I don't know. Anyway, it was on this day, Hurricane Katrina. All right, folks, that's going to do it for quarter one. Let's move on to the birthdays. Let's talk about people who claim it's their birthday. As I always say, I don't really know if it's their birthday, but they say it is, so let's go with it. Born on this day, Ingrid Bergman. Ingrid Bergman, born on this day in 1950. Ingrid Bergman, she was a Swedish actress. Now, if you're like me, you're probably like, yeah, I've heard that name. Although, if I'm being honest, there's another person in movies from that period, and that person is a director named Ingmar Bergman. And sometimes I just don't know the difference between Ingrid and... Thank you. I heard you. Y'all said God bless you. I get confused with Ingrid Bergman and Ingmar Bergman, whatever. Point is this. Ingrid Bergman was an actress. Apparently, she was a very sexy actress. And I can't even picture her. Can you? Can you picture her? I can't. So let's play a little game we like to play on this show. It's called Would Ya? All right. It's Ingrid Bergman's birthday. Let's take a look at Ingrid Bergman and let's decide, would ya? All right, here you go. There she is. Swedish actress Ingrid Bergman. She was considered, I can tell you this, people of her time considered her like the most beautiful. She's got pretty eyes. I don't know. I mean, that is beautiful right there. That is undeniable. That's beautiful. That's a hot chick, Their hair was bad back then, though. Do you have difficulty like me when you look at pictures of like beautiful women from the 1940s and you're like, that hair is terrible. I could not be attracted to that hair. That hair looks bad. Who's that? Oh, that's Isabella Rossellini. That's her daughter. The actress Isabella Rossellini. Would you? Nah. This is about Ingrid Bergman. All right, there she is. Ingrid Bergman. Yeah, I would. All right, there you go. I think I would. I should be so lucky. We should all be so lucky. All right, there you have it. Ingrid Bergman wins today's Would Ya? Born on this day in 1950. Born on this day in 1917. And this is interesting because yesterday we celebrated the birthday of Helen Willis, a.k.a. Roxy Roker, also known as Lenny Kravitz's mom. It was her birthday yesterday. Today it's Wheezy. Wheezy was born on this day in 1917. Wheezy, Isabel Sanford. It's a good time to remind you of how much Sherman Hemsley, who played George Jefferson, hated the casting of Isabel Sanford. Sherman Hemsley did not want Isabel Sanford playing Wheezy in the Jeffersons, but they did it anyway. You know why? Did you guys realize this? Wheezy's like 30 years older than Sherman Hemsley. When you're watching the Jeffersons, did you know that Wheezy was like super old? Wheezy was born in 1917, and I think like Sherman Hemsley was born in like 1935 or something. I don't know. Let's find out now. All right, she's 1917. See when Sherman Hemsley was born. There you go. Yeah. 38. He was born in 38. He's 21. She's 21 years older than him. His wife in the TV show was 21 years older than him. Happy birthday, Isabel Sanford. Born on this day in 1935, William Friedkin, American director. We did a William Friedkin draft a couple of weeks ago because his birthday or his death day was a couple of weeks ago. William Friedkin. He's cool. French Connection. The Exorcist. I mean, come on. Born on this day in 1939, another director who's cool. Joel Schumacher. Another director who's dead. He's also dead. Joel Schumacher. Joel Schumacher did a bunch of stuff. Flatliners. I don't know why I always think Flatliners. He did much bigger movies than Flatliners, but I think Flatliners because I was Flatliners. Joel Schumacher. Born on this day in 1939. Born on this day in 1941, Robin Leach. Robin Leach is important. Remember Robin Leach? Lifestyles of the rich and famous. Champagne wishes and caviar dreams. Whatever. He's very important to me as a human being, as an evolving human being. I always brag about my good judgment. I always brag judgment when it comes to others. Now, in life, my actual judgment is horseshit. But when it comes to like sizing up people and deciding good dude, bad dude, I'm always pretty good at that. I can tell. I can smell a bullshit artist. Boom. So quick. Anyway. Robin Leach was very important in me honing that ability later in life. Robin Leach was one of the first people that I, as like a 10, 11, 12-year-old, saw on TV and went, oh, I wouldn't trust that guy. There's something super shady there's something grifty about that guy. And yeah, that's what Robin Leach was. He was a parasite who just hung out on rich people boats. But Robin Leach is not the guy that would be there when the chips were down. Robin Leach was just going to be there when, you're throwing a big white yacht party. He was a piece of garbage. I always looked at him and I went, that guy's kind of a piece of garbage, isn't he? No, but he's fun. And isn't it fun to watch and fantasize? No, you can watch and fantasize, but let's not lose track of the sight. Let's not lose sight of the fact that Robin Leach is a piece of shit. This guy's kind of a piece of shit. He's just glorifying excess consumerism. And he's kind of dangling it in front of an audience of people who will never get to experience this. So basically, he's a fucking scoreboard and showboat artist. I hate him. That's who I thought Robin Leach was. He was born on this day in 1941. You want to know how bullshit Robin Leach was? Robin Leach once did an episode of that Celebrity Wife Swap show about 20 years ago. Remember that show? Celebrity Wife Swap? It was a reality show where a celebrity and his wife would swap with another celebrity and his wife. And it was all, first of all, no self-respecting actual celebrity would ever do that. So they always got people like Robin Leach, Honestly, if we're being truthful, in 2003, it's the kind of thing I'm surprised we didn't see Trump on, right? Trump would have been on Celebrity Wife Swap in 2003. Anyway, Robin Leach did it one time. And he brought this woman who was posing as his wife. And I'm looking at this woman and I'm going, that's Joan Severance. That's the actress Joan Severance. Is Robin Leach married to Joan Severance? So I actually no, he wasn't married. He never even dated her. That was just what bullshit Robin Leach was. He was going to be featured on an episode of Wife Swap, and he probably had an ugly old wife. So he went and hired a sex actress to pose as his wife. Yeah, he's a bullshit artist. I hate him. He's dead, so we don't have to worry about him anymore. Born on this day in 1947, also dead, James Hunt, F1 race car driver. The great film Rush, the Ron Howard film Rush, is about the 1974 F1 season, where it was Niki Lauda versus James Hunt, and Niki Lauda burned himself up in a car wreck and he came back to race. Anyway, James Hunt, very cool guy. Born on this day in 1947. Born on this day in 1958. I don't know if this is a cool guy. No, actually, I do know. Okay, this is not a cool guy. This is not someone you go, yeah, man. You hang out with blank blank. Yeah, it's cool. He's cool, man. Yeah, he's cool, man. He's a nice, cool hang. That has never been said about Michael Jackson. No, it's more like, hey, man, you hang out with Michael? Yeah, I hung out with Michael last night. How you doing? It was weird, dude. It was weird. That's the response you would expect. Not Michael Jackson's cool. So he's not cool. He's a weirdo. He's an epic world-class weirdo. But then again, we, the adoring public, we may hold some responsibility for that. I mean, we were feverishly interested in, I can't. He's just weird. Just been weird from the beginning, I guess. Born on this day, 1958, Michael Jackson. Born on this day in 1959, Rebecca De Mornay. She played the prostitute in Risky Business. I got to be honest with you. Never. I was just, wait. Do you know who I confuse her with? You want to talk about the Hollywood Clone Factory? Okay. Hollywood Clone Factory is my theory that there's a factory in Hollywood that pumps out the exact same kind of actress every couple of years. They're all based on the exact same model. Rebecca De Mornay, she came out in the Rosanna Arquette line. There's Rebecca De Mornay and Rosanna Arquette, to me, are completely interchangeable. Here's how I know. One of them is in Risky Business. That's De Mornay. And one of them is the one that the song Rosanna by Toto is written about. And that's obviously Rosanna Arquette, because it'd be weird if that was Rebecca De Mornay. But no, it's Rosanna Arquette. But they're the same. They're like the same actress. Anyway, Rebecca De Mornay, born on this day in 1959. I was never. Here's the thing about both of those actresses. Not interested. I'm not interested in either of you. No, I'm not. I'm sorry. Maybe Rebecca De Mornay, because now I'm thinking about them both, and I think Rebecca De Mornay might be a little bit pretty. I think Rebecca. Oh wait a second. I am definitely looking and thinking of both of them right now. It's not even close. De Mornay wins. All right. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Rebecca De Mornay. My gift to you is that I would make love to you. There you have it. Let's see here. What else do we have? Born on this day in 1967, Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch. I got no hot take on Neil Gorsuch. He seems fine. I mean, I know, like, if you were, like, radicalized on one side or the other, you have to hate him or love him, but whatever. He's Gorsuch. He's on the Supreme Court. I don't waste my time with that stuff. Born on this day in 1986, Leah Michele. Leah Michele. She's the chick from Glee, right? Is she kind of like the female Armie Hammer? Not that she's a cannibal or anything like that, but yesterday I talked about Armie Hammer on his birthday, where Hollywood was just trying to force feed us Armie Hammer for like years. They're like, he's the next big thing. And America is like, no, we don't like him. And they kept trying to make us see him in movies. And then finally it was revealed that he is a weird sex guy. And so they finally gave up. They're like, yeah, we're done. You were right. Hey, Nebraska, you were right. Armie Hammer is not special. So now he's done. Is that who Leah Michele is? Remember she was on Glee? She was on Glee, and it's like they tried to make her out to be like the next great thing. Like she's the most incredible actress. I don't know that I've seen her anywhere. And doesn't she have like the Streisand thing going on? Here's what I mean by the Streisand thing. She's got big nose. She's got big honker. She's got big giant honker, and it's like a point of pride that, you know, she doesn't get it fixed. Because if she got her nose fixed, like she would be generically hot. She would be a generic hot girl. She would look like a generic, Jennifer Garner or something. But she doesn't. She's got a big honker, and she's otherwise pretty, and she's got a great voice. So she got an actual discernible talent there. There's something that's really great. She's a great singer. I don't know. She just never took off. And the Streisand thing is that Streisand can't fix her nose. Streisand could never fix her nose. Streisand just got to a point where her nose was her most defining characteristic. However, Streisand was a megastar. Leah Michele is not. Hi, Frank. Frank says, hi, Pugs, in the chat room. I'll say hi to you fuckers in the chat room. I don't care. What's going on? What's going on, Frankie? Let's see here. Byron's checking in. Can't watch. Too much going on. Byron, what are you doing, Byron? Byron's out there arranging what? Tiki torches and shit. Gonna storm the Capitol. What's going on, Byron? Why can't you be here? I don't like you not being here. All right, there you go. Those are your birthdays. Want 'em, want 'em, want 'em. They claimed it's their birthday. Let's do the deads. People who died. In this fucking weird, man. This is weird. Harry Houdini did this. Harry Houdini, he's the only other one that I think of immediately when... No, those are just two big holidays. I was going to say Jesus did this, but Christmas and Easter are just two different big holidays. I was confused. What happened? What am I talking about, is you're probably asking. On this day, dead in the year 1982, the birthday girl, Ingrid Bergman. Remember we talked about Ingrid Bergman and birthday. She was the first birthday. Today's the day she was born. It's also the day she died. The only other person I know who can claim that is Harry Houdini. And this is weird because it's Halloween. Or at least maybe that's a legend. I don't know, whatever. Harry Houdini died on the same day he was born, and same with Ingrid Bergman. Where'd she go? Heaven or hell? She's an actress, so that typically means she goes to hell. And as I say, I don't know enough about her. I don't know enough about her to let her not go to hell. Dead on this day in 1987, the great American He-Man actor. I love this guy, and you need to love this guy. I love this guy. I love Coburn. James Coburn and this dude, I kind of confuse them, but one's much older. Happy birthday, born on this day, or dead on this day. Happy death day. Dead on this day in 1987, Lee Marvin. Oh, he was a badass. Dead on this day he's going to heaven. We're going to put Lee Marvin in heaven. He's a badass. I like him. Probably no. Or was that Coburn? Coburn was Flint. Yeah. Coburn was Flint. He was really cool. I like Coburn. I like Marvin too. But what is Marvin? What do I think of when I think of Lee Marvin? What's like his role? He's going to heaven anyway. It doesn't matter. All right, keep going. Dead on this day in 2007, Richard Jewell. Richard Jewell, remember this guy? Remember this poor guy? We're like, fuck that guy. This is just a regular dude, man. This is a dude who could hang out in this chat room. Richard Jewell, just a schlub, just a regular, normal-ass dude. And then, the Olympic Park bombing happens there down in the Olympics in Atlanta. And I don't know how he got in the crosshairs. He was just a security guard. And then in the days that followed, the way people talked about this dude, well, let's be honest. What kind of a weirdo wants to be a security guard? And then they'd have experts on, and the experts were like, well, there is a very real psychiatric condition where you create your own moments to be the hero of, and that's what we think. That's all the shit they said about this poor dude, this poor little mopey dude, Richard Jewell. He had nothing going on in his life, and now all of a sudden the entire country is like, he's a terrorist who ruined our Olympics. I mean, they were wrong, and Richard Jewell was completely cleared of all of this shit. Turns out he was just a dope, just a little dude, didn't do anything wrong. He was good-hearted. He wanted to be a cop. I don't think he could be a cop. I don't think he was physically fit enough. So he ended up being a security guard. What kind of person really wants to be a cop? Those were the kind of open conversations that were being held around the character of Richard Jewell. Man, we fucked that guy over. So anyway, heaven, of course, for Richard Jewell. He died very young. When did he die? Is he still alive? No, he's dead. Why doesn't this say that he's... Hold on. When did Richard Jewell die? He died like 10 years ago, didn't he? Didn't he drop dead of a heart attack? All right, we're moving on. Dead on this day in 2016. Here's another dude we're putting in heaven. Gene Wilder. Preemptively. We're putting Gene Wilder in heaven. Gene Wilder was awesome. Is it on Netflix? There's a documentary about Gene Wilder, about his life. And I haven't been able to watch it yet because it seems like it's going to be sad. It seems like it's going to be something I'm going to really enjoy, but it also seems like something that's going to be sad and that's going to take a little bit of energy out of me. So I haven't really been in that mindset to watch the Gene Wilder documentary. But my God, man, if there was ever a person, I mean, he's the closest thing. People always say Robin Williams, but I think Robin Williams is a little bit much. Like Robin Williams is, whenever somebody goes, Robin Williams is my favorite, I'm like, Jesus. Not me. He's fine, but Jesus, he was just a little bit too much all the time. Robin Williams. Gene Wilder was kind of like a well done Robin Williams. Like Robin Williams with a little bit more measured. Just a measured Robin Williams. Silver Streak, so funny. His work with Richard Pryor, so funny. His work with Mel Brooks, undisputably funny. He was terrific. And then of course the Gilda Radner stuff. I mean, I have this running list of my favorite celebrity couples, and that probably goes back to me just loving the fact that Gene Wilder and Gilda Radner were married. They just seemed like the nicest couple. And then she got sick. She got breast cancer and she died. She died like on TV. Like we watched her die. She would do show appearances with short hair. Oh God. And she was so beloved. And then it was all about, Gene Wilder suspending his acting career so that he could take care of Gilda. And then she died. Oh, my God. Gene Wilder's going to heaven. He's awesome. He's just a dude. He's just a good dude. All right, there you go. Also, dead on this day. What year? Why did that happen? I just lost my place. Hold on. Dead on this day. I don't have the year for you yet. Has to have been recently, though, because he's been on my show a number of times. Ladies and gentlemen, Ed Asner. Ed Asner. He's going to hell. Ed Asner's going to hell. He's a troublemaker. He is a troublemaking son of a bitch, but he was also awesome. A lot of people in hell are awesome. Ed Asner is one of them. Oh, my God. Hold on. This is absurd. God. For some reason, this page, it did this yesterday. I thought it was because I rested my finger on it, but sometimes the page just goes, it's on my phone. It'll scroll by itself, and it'll scroll all the way to the bottom of the page or the bottom of the file. And that's a problem because there's currently like 420 pages in this file. So it's really, an inconvenient. 2021 is when we lost Ed Asner. Mary Tyler Moore Show. Lou Grant. I love Lou Grant. He was always such a fun guest. because he loved doing radio. He would just do radio. He just did radio to promote whatever, promote this. He'd probably done my show in its various ways 10 times over like a 20-year period. And he was always so nice, like really nice, a real gentleman, but also funny, like mean funny, like Lou Grant. Like you want Lou Grant to have a pissy attitude about some things. He would talk current events. He was a wild liberal. He was a Hollywood liberal of the highest. So if you got him talking, he would go. But he's in hell. He's in hell because I don't know. I just think Lou Grant. I think Ed Asner. I think he spent a lot of time purposely pissing people in his life off. I think that's what gave him joy. And I think that's the kind of thing that gets you sent to hell. All right, there you have it. First 3 quarters, guys, are in the books. We've gone through the antecedently on this day, the birthdays and the deaths. It's now time again for me to remind you today's executive producers who we hold in the highest regard, Cam and Peter. Thank you so much, Cam and Peter. We're going to now move into quarter 4. This is all the hot topics, current events, all the things that people are talking about. Okay, so let's buckle up now. For the uninitiated, I want to let you all know I'm not a political animal. I don't give a fuck about Trump, and I don't give a fuck about Kamala. Okay, I think that they both have their problems. One, I don't even want to parse it. Don't even want to parse it. So when we talk about these events in the news that are obviously political, because we are in a political season, there's a campaign being waged by the Republicans and the Democrats like we've never seen before. This is going to be the craziest, mudslingingest, ugliest campaign in history. So it's unavoidable. And I like to riff on stuff that's in the news, and so we're going to riff on some of this. This is undeniably, though, the big story. At least, I mean, maybe not on Fox News or News Nation or, Right Side News or whatever, those Trump news stations. But we didn't talk about it yesterday much. I mentioned it, but we didn't get into it because I thought, my God, this story just needs to go away. This is another one of these fucking ugly stories that can we just all agree, let it go away. But it's not going away, and it's getting bigger and bigger because more and more people are chiming in, and that is the Arlington Cemetery Trump scandal. Another scandal. Oh, stop it. All right, so here's what happened at Arlington Cemetery. It was the 3-year anniversary of an event that took place in Afghanistan. So there was a memorial being held for the victims of this event 3 years ago. There was a leaf laying and all that stuff. So apparently, an organization, a political organization, don't get it wrong, a political organization that works with the Gold Star family set up this event there. And they invited the Trump campaign to come and be with the families on this day. Look, the pull-up from Afghanistan has been a talking point and a criticism from the Trump side for a long time. So, and now he's being blamed for it. Like all of his generals are going, well, actually it was Trump who was responsible for that. But that's neither here nor there. So he's got to show that he's with the families and all that. And I get that. Nothing wrong with, politicians surrounding themselves with Gold Star families. It's not the first time and it's not the last time. However, there is a section, as we talked about, this section 60 of Arlington, which is off limits to all cameras, all recording devices, and all events. Why? Because it's the most solemn of the places there. It is where the most recent residents of Arlington National Cemetery are laid to rest. So that would be where these soldiers who 3 years ago met their fate, that's where they would be. So during this whole thing, they did a leaf wreath laying, and I was filmed, and the Trump cameras were there, and there's some other media there, I guess, and but they filmed it all, and that's fine. That's all public, and that happens. But then they moved over to the private graves in this section 60. They were apparently stopped by the people who maintain Arlington National Cemetery, the people who work there. They said, no, I'm sorry, there are no cameras and there is no gatherings allowed in this area. So blah, blah, blah. That turned into something. What did it turn into? I don't know. That depends on where you get your news. Was F-bombs being thrown back and were people pushing and shoving? Well, I don't know. Point is this, the Trump campaign was apparently told you can't film here, and they filmed there anyway. Extrapolate from that how you think or perceive that went down. Was there pushing? Was there, fuck you? What were they at? Whatever. It doesn't matter, because that is actually what's being talked about most, which is stupid. I want this story to go away. So an incident occurred and they filmed there anyway. And then, of course, because it's, political season, everybody's got their little weaponized wings on social media and their bands of trolls, and they get out there and all the Kamala people and the left people are like, this is an outrage. Trump bullied his way into this area. And they're all just, pearl clutching, and they can't believe it. All right. So let me just say this. If that is true, can't believe it? I totally believe it. I don't think that anybody associated with running Donald Trump's campaign has any sense of what is right and what is proper. I think all they are political animals. And they saw an opportunity to make a campaign ad with him in this area, being with the families and at the grave sites. I think they saw that, and that's all they saw. There is no safety net in that organization that I can see. Nobody acted as the safety net and said, is this proper? Can't it be said, and this is probably an internal conversation that should have happened that didn't, couldn't it be said that we're exploiting the sadness and grief of these families, and then we're going to turn that into a political ad, and then we're going to use it for our own self-aggrandizement? Isn't that a bit, I don't know, in bad taste? Nobody said that. So nobody said that. So they just did it, and they went out and they did it. And now it's a whole big fucking thing. And the organization that I pointed out to you who invited Trump, who does represent Gold Star families, they are a political action committee. So don't kid yourself. It's being framed in some circles like, no, the parents of all of these veterans, they've become quite close over the past 3 years, and they organized this. It's very organic, and it's not grassroots. There are a group of people who were wrangled together for political purposes from the very beginning. Okay? That's what it is. That's how these things work. It's not just some Facebook page of, no. So the intent from the very beginning was political. He was invited for political reasons. He certainly went for political reasons. No, that's not true. Donald Trump demanded there be no cameras. He didn't want any documentation of this because he cares about the family so much. Stop it. Tell that fucking story somewhere else. That's just stupid. He went there for political purposes, and that's one of the things that has always bothered me about this guy. He doesn't seem to have any sense of what is in good taste and what is in bad taste. Have you ever seen his fucking house? This guy's a billionaire, and his house is decorated like terribly, okay? Just terribly. It's decorated like one of these sheiks in the Middle East who just, buy gold toilets because they think that a toilet seat should cost $500,000. I don't know. There's just no taste. There's just this opulence and this ugliness and this in your face and ugh. So the family is saying we invited him, we wanted him here, and that's good enough for a lot of people. But now we got the United States Army, the United States Park Services, and the Arlington people themselves all coming out and saying, no, this was fucking ugly. They behaved in an ugly manner. So there you have it. That's the story. Pick your side, choose your fighter, whatever it is. But I'm here to tell you, if you're going to sit here and pretend that was a truly organic thing and that Donald Trump just went out of the goodness of his heart and there wasn't any kind of political plan from the beginning, you're lying to yourself, man. You're not an honest broker. Okay? This is what they do. Now, in this particular, you could probably say, that's right, Pugs. That is what they do. And the Democrats do it too. And I would say, okay, you're probably right. Give me the example of when they did this. We're not talking about them. Everything is not whataboutism. We're just going to take these fastballs as they come across the plate. And today the fastball was Trump in Arlington doing another off-putting thing. It's just one off-putting thing after another. Is it a huge deal? No, it's really not. And you know why it's not a huge deal? Because I'm not surprised in the least that they did this. Everything Trump has done since 2016 has been in some way or another made me roll my eyes and go, oh God. It's the reason I don't like the guy. It's the reason I don't trust the guy. It's the reason why I could never vote Republican again, at least not until they clean house and go back to being a legitimate conservative organization with the best interests of this country at heart. That's not what they are. Republican Party's been destroyed. You could probably say the same thing for the Democratic Party. I don't carry water for those people either. But right now we're talking about the situation at Arlington and why everybody in the country is talking about it. It was a stupid decision on their part, but as I always say, they are shameless people and they feel no shame for this. So of course, the next day after the scandal, they put out a political ad. So now there's a viral political ad being put out by the Trump campaign of them solemnly praying over the grave. It's just so stupid. It's just so stupid. But it is ugly. But is it surprising? No, just move on. Nobody's shocked by Trump doing these things. We all know it's baked in. It is baked in that he's going to do this shit. Can we just move on? We are numb to it. Nobody is going, well, I was going to vote for that guy, but after seeing that, so just stop it. Ugh. The nitpicking is absolutely insane. Case in point, this is actually really funny. I don't know if you've seen this story going around, but a talking point today, every single day they come up with a different talking point to try and attack Kamala. Every day. Today's talking point is that she lied on her resume. That's right. Did you see it? Did you see it going around? The right is accusing Kamala Harris, MAGA, not the right, because again, the right is not completely without their qualities. They're not. So I hate to do that because I have friends who are very right wing and they don't like Trump. Not right wing. I don't have any right wing friends. That's true. I don't think I could have right wing friends because to me, right wing is something a bit extreme. I don't have any left wing friends either, though. I don't have any friends that are going to text me and go, "Hey, you want to go blow up a Tesla dealership?" No, I don't have any of those friends either. Okay, where are we? What are we talking about? Kamala lied on her resume. She's being criticized because she worked for a summer at a McDonald's and she didn't put it on her resume. And they're talking about this just being another example of how duplicitous she is. Which is really funny because I have a resume and I worked at McDonald's and I also didn't put my summer at McDonald's on my professional resume. As I said on Twitter, it came down to a space issue and it was either putting on my resume that I was the executive producer of a nationally syndicated morning radio show or that I worked at McDonald's for a summer. And I'm sorry, but the McDonald's one didn't make the cut. How absurd is that? How absurd. Kamala's there's probably so much shit that you can legitimately nitpick about her. But to pretend that people who worked at McDonald's put that on their professional business resume and that the fact that she didn't is somehow an indication that she can't be trusted. Let me just say it loudly. If that's what you're going with, y'all got nothing. Y'all got nothing. If that's what you're going with. The other big attack line today that I saw on right-wing Twitter is a lot of people are screaming. There's pictures of Biden on the beach there in Delaware. Dude can go anywhere, and he's the fucking leader of the free world. He goes to a beach in Delaware. Oh, God. We shouldn't let him make any big decisions just for that decision. Really? You don't even want to go to, Cape Cod? You're going to go to a beach in Delaware. So there's pictures of Biden on the beach in Delaware, and then a lot of people are screaming about who's running the country. This is absolutely absurd that he would be on the beach in August. And I'm like, well, that's when presidents go on vacation. I don't think it's absurd at all that a president in the middle of August would be on a beach. That's when they, it's when they do that stuff. And let's not kid ourselves. This guy's the lame duck. He's on his way out. He's not going to be making any big deals. Oh, stop it. See, it's my point again. They got nothing. That's why this is so much fun. This is why I was so excited when Biden stepped down and Kamala jumped in. I'm like, now we're going to have a fun election. Now we're going to see some shit. So Kamala is not, she's lying on her resume. Me and Kamala both. Neither of us have McDonald's on our resume. Let's see here. What else tonight? You going to tune in for the Harris Waltz interview? It's going to be Omarosa and Ted Lasso. That's the way to look at it. I think that's the way I've been framing it in my head. That Kamala is like Omarosa. She's like starting out there. At least that's how I think a lot of dudes see her. Not different than Omarosa, this really sort of pushy woman of color, who, I guess MAGA doesn't see her as a woman of color, right? MAGA sees her as, what do they see her as? What do they see her as? Like Sri Lankan? Is that what they? But it is. Today's interview, they're going to sit down. They're going to sit down with CNN tonight. I think 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, doesn't matter. I'll see the clips. I'm not going to watch this whole thing. It's going to be Omarosa and Ted Lasso sitting down. Now, again, this is another thing that yesterday's attack point was. Why won't she do it alone? Well, quite frankly, because traditionally, nobody does it alone. After the nomination, the first major interview that a candidate gives is always with their running mate. It's the introduction. Now, does that solve the problem of her not sitting down and doing a one-on-one interview? No. But here's the thing, and this is what she and I think her team are thinking. They're not going to be pressured by the right, these absurd criticisms from the right about every little thing. They're not going to be pressured now to just sit down and do a one-on-one interview, even though I personally think they should, and I think that she should. I think she should talk as much as she can. But they're like, yeah, okay, we'll do interviews, but we're not going to do it today because then it'll look like we're doing it because of them, which I also think is a mistake. And here's why. Because what they seem to be doubling down on is an ego-driven decision, which is we won't do it because they're demanding we do it. Even though we exist in a world that favors the court of public opinion. Court of public opinion would like to see her sit down. I say that was an ego-driven decision on them to, resist that because I'm not going to do what they're telling me to do because they're telling me to do it and I won't do it. That's the decision. That's ego-driven. That's a problem. That's a mistake. She should be sitting there. She should have done since the first time somebody said Kamala Harris hasn't talked to anybody. She should have sat down 45 minutes later with somebody. Shut it down in the beginning. But no, their ego is running this. We are going to operate independent of the noise from the peanut gallery, right? That's their whole thing. But the peanut gallery in 2024 is a lot stronger and more powerful than it's ever been. Why? Because of social media. The peanut gallery used to be a disembodied voice of criticism that was minor. You could manage the peanut gallery. The peanut gallery isn't that anymore. The peanut gallery, because of social media and because we're all connected, is now the court of public opinion. And you better start playing to the court of public opinion, Kamala, or else. Thank you. I don't want to get on and talk about Kamala. I don't care. Kamala. Which one makes me racist? I don't know. I say both. I don't know. I'm sorry. I didn't grow up with 4 other Kamalas in my class. I don't have much experience with people named Kamala. Sorry. Is it Kamala or Kamala or Kamala? I don't even know. But one of them I know makes me a racist. One of them makes me fine. One of them makes me a racist. The other one probably just makes me a dumbass. But which is it? And you can't tell me because you're in the chat room. Because you're not going to be able to pronounce it properly. It all looks the same. I've seen it spelled out. Is it Kamala? Is it Kamala? Or is it Kamala? I'm pretty sure it's not Kamala. Okay, that one, let's eliminate that one. Pretty sure it's not Kamala. But is it Kamala or Kamala? Fuck it, I'm from Chicago. It's Kamala. It's going to be Kamala. That's it, I'm from Chicago. Kamala. That's what I'm going to call her. All right, so that's tonight on CNN. They're going to sit down. Old Ted Lasso and whatever. So that'll be absolutely lame. What else do we have here? SpaceX is making the news today. Boy, this is what I say, man. I'm a real fan of space. Okay, I'm not one of these sci-fi guys. I look at the realities of the current state of human space travel, and I recognize how incredibly limited it is as compared to our outsized perception of what we should be able to do, because we've been watching Star Wars for 40 years. So when we look at, the actual realities of space travel, it's a little bit underwhelming, especially since we can't get off a pad 10 out of 10 times. We can't just be like 10 times in a row. Let's see if we can launch this thing without killing anybody. We still can't do that. It's still fucking super dangerous every time. So SpaceX had a problem, and now SpaceX is grounded. I don't know if this is going to affect their rescue mission of the Starliner pilots who are stuck up at the International Space Station, because because SpaceX is supposed to save them, but that's not until February, so maybe they'll have time. But SpaceX had what we're calling a SpaceX oops today, and the FAA has grounded all SpaceX rockets from now on. What is that called? No time limit, whatever. All SpaceX rockets are grounded. The FAA grounds SpaceX after rocket falls over in flames at landing. So here's what happened, and I don't think we got a picture of it. I was hoping we would, but I didn't see any video of it. So SpaceX, by the way, they do really good stuff with launching these things. They actually do get off the pad pretty consistently. Now, most of that is unmanned, so it's just like missile technology. You're just basically shooting a missile. It's the manned stuff that we have problems with. The unmanned shit they have no problem with, and they've actually taken it a step further with the idea of the reusable rocket and all of that. So what SpaceX can do that NASA never could is that they can send something into space and then they can bring it back down and park it. And we've seen that, right? We've seen the where it comes down and it lands perfectly on the ship. There's like a aircraft carrier somewhere, something in the ocean. And when the SpaceX rocket returns, it goes and it lands. And it's fucking cool. And it's one of the best things that Elon Musk has ever done. Problem is, they can't stick the landing every time. No, they can't. Like this morning. This morning, where the rocket comes down and it lands and then it tips over and it explodes and it bursts into flames. And it was just not good. It was not good. The Federal Aviation Administration has grounded SpaceX's Falcon 9 rockets and ordered an investigation following the pre-dawn accident off of Florida's coast today. No injuries or public damage were reported. It's too early to know how much impact this will have on SpaceX's upcoming crew flights, one private and the other for NASA. Let's see, a billionaire has chartered a SpaceX flight. That flight was delayed earlier because of poor weather. See, we can't even launch if it's chance of rain. That's where we are. So stop, watching years of Star Wars and thinking that's, what space travel is. That ain't nothing. That's made up. We can't even, if it looks like it's going to rain, we have to script it. We're just not there yet, man. We're not there yet. All right. Anyway, SpaceX, they had a problem today. The thing tipped over, came down and tipped over and then exploded, and there were all kinds of problems. Here's a crazy story. We don't know who these people are, but it's some famous dude in Spain. He's a Spanish actor. He's a real famous Spanish actor. I don't speak Spanish, so, I'm not big on Spanish cinema. Cinema? God, just somebody cracked me in the head. A YouTube chef who's the son of a famous Spanish actor has been sentenced to life in prison for murder. Murder, you say? This comes out of Thailand. What's my rule on Thailand? Don't go to Thailand. If you know me, if we're friends, if we know each other, don't go to Thailand. I'm telling you that as my friend. Or if you must, don't tell me that you're going to Thailand. I don't want to know that you're going to Thailand. Unless you're like, yeah, this is my friend Wong. His family are from Phuket. Then you can go to Thailand. But for any other reason, if you're like a normal, middle-aged white dude and you're like, yeah, man, I'm going to Thailand. No. The beaches are amazing. No. You know where else the beaches are amazing? The Bahamas, Hawaii. You don't have to go to Thailand. Whole bunch of other things going on there in Thailand that I think you might be interested in, and you're just not telling me about it. So anyway, this happened in Thailand. Maybe it's different. Maybe Thailand is different for people in Spain. Is it closer? Is it like their Cancun? Would that be like if would that be like if our Cancun was just globally known for like child sexploitation? Is that what it is for people in Spain? So maybe I shouldn't judge people from Spain for going to Thailand. Maybe it's closer. I don't know. I don't know what a globe looks like. If I could picture in my head what the world looked like, I'd be like, yeah, Spain, that's probably a 5-hour trip, whatever. A court in Thailand on Thursday found Daniel Sancho Brancalo, a member of a famous Spanish acting family, guilty of premeditated murder and sentenced him to life in prison. In a lurid case, this is a lurid case. Here's what happened. Here's what happened. So this dude, he's the son of a famous actor. He's also got a big YouTube channel where he cooks. He traveled to Thailand with another dude, his friend, who was a plastic surgeon. And the plastic surgeon ended up dead. Well, first plastic surgeon ended up missing, but then they found his pelvis in a garbage thing. And, then we were off to the races. They're like, hey, how did his pelvis end up in the garbage? And that's where this dude, the son of a famous Spanish actor, got drawn into it. They're like, you did this, didn't you? And he's like, no, I didn't. And I'm like, yeah, we think you did. We got all kinds of evidence that says you did this. And then the son of the Spanish actor, he goes, yeah, I did it. But that's because he made a pass at me. Yeah, that's it. He made a pass at me, and I'm not gay, and he tried to be gay with me. And then the police were like, but you guys were sharing a hotel room. You only had one king bed. You two dudes. He's a plastic surgeon. He can get his own room if that's what he wanted. You guys are sharing a room, so it looks like you guys were gay. Basically, the plastic surgeon, they had a fight. This is what they're saying. They had a fight, and the plastic surgeon threatened to go public with the fact that this famous actor's son was gay. And the famous actor's son apparently killed him. That's what they're saying. Sancho, he's a 30-year-old chef with a YouTube channel. He'd been charged with the murder of Edwin Arriaga Arteaga, a 44-year-old plastic surgeon from Colombia. Both were vacationing, sharing a room at the Thai holiday island, Koh Phangan. The island is famous for its monthly full moon beach parties, attracting travelers from around the world for all-night raves. Let's see. The convicted man is the son of Rodolfo Sancho Aguirre, a prominent Spanish actor, and Silvia Brancalo, who has also been in acting. Both parents are 49 years old and attended their 49? He's 30. They're 49. They both 19. Jeez. They had kids. They had kids when they were 19. They had a kid when they were 19, and they didn't give up on their acting dream. Look at that. Paid off. The court also ordered Sancho to pay more than $4.2 million in compensation to the victim's family. Let's see. Quoted Sancho's for... At the trial, Daniel Sancho had claimed that he'd gotten into a fight with Dr. Arrieta for allegedly trying to sexually assault him. He said that Arrieta fell as they scuffled and hit his head on a bathtub, losing consciousness and then dying. He pled not guilty to the charges of premeditated murder. Sancho acknowledged dismembering the victim's body and disposing of the parts on land and at sea. For the charge of concealing or damaging a body, he received a 4-month prison sentence, reduced to 2 months for acknowledging the act. He had also pled not guilty to the charge of destroying another person's documents, the victim's passport, for which he received a 2-year prison term. The elements of the case, violent death on Holiday Island, the celebrity connections, and the lurid sexual details attracted huge coverage in Spanish media. Here's the other thing he did. He claims that it was just a heat of passion because this dude tried to touch his dick, even though they were sharing a hotel room. Tried to touch my dick, so I kicked his ass, and then I kicked his ass so bad that he died, and I had to cut him up, and, I didn't really do nothing. Okay, that's what he says. Here's what the police say. Hey, we got video of you, like a couple of days before you killed him. We got video of you at a store buying a whole bunch of stuff to cut up a body, and you planned this, dude. And that's where it came out that he was threatening to out him publicly as being gay. Wasn't about he touched my dick. It was about you're gay, and he's going to tell people you're gay. And is that a thing in Spain? Gay is gay. Do they have gays in Spain? They do, right? Sure, they do. But my question is this: is it like a more macho culture? Like there are certain cultures traditionally that are, and when I think of Spanish men, I think of very macho. So maybe he wasn't as comfortable being the out gay son of a Spanish celebrity. Anyway, there you have it. Crazy story. Gateway Church here in Southlake, Dallas, North Texas. 100,000 people a week. 100,000 people a week show up for church services at Gateway. Gateway, Robert Morris, he's the leader of the church. He got in all kinds of trouble a couple of months ago. He diddled a kid back when he was, a young pastoral student. Diddled a kid. He had to step down as the righteous leader of this super rich, super wealthy evangelical North Texas behemoth known as Gateway, and it's in South Lake. That's where the big money is. So these people are all the worst Christians. They probably preach that bullshit prosperity doctrine. That's the Christian. That's where Jesus would want you to take advantage of people because money is sacred, and that the money that you take from people in business deals and all, it's the prosperity doctrine. It's fucking awful. And it's a way that pastors and evangelical reverends justify having jets. But whatever, that's the kind of shit that goes on there at Gateway. 100,000 people a weekend. Their chief pastor, Robert Morris, he diddled some kids, so he had to step down. Diddled a kid, maybe, so he had to step down. And then the other day, I told you about the guy who was in charge of all the pastoral services at all the Gateway campuses. He had to step down for what they're calling moral failings. Moral failings. Now, we're not going to get specific on this, but... So anyway, here's the thing. There's a big story on CNN today about the Gateway Church and the Gateway Church scandals. Remember I told you 100,000 people a weekend? Yeah, they're down 60%. People aren't going to Gateway Church anymore because of all of this. Man, oh man. CrowdStrike. Let's talk about CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike, did you know, I didn't know what CrowdStrike was. I think I'd heard the name a couple of times, but they were the victim of a big issue. We're going to call it an issue. A couple of weeks back, remember, they shut down and stranded people at airports all over the globe. And here's the thing. CrowdStrike is an internet security firm. They protect you and your company and your business and your money from being the victim of hacking. And then all of their shit went haywire. And in the very early hours, it was said there was a big hacking on CrowdStrike. That was shut down almost immediately when CrowdStrike fell on their own sword and said, no, we weren't hacked. We weren't hacked. We can't hack us. We're CrowdStrike. Our entire business model is based on the idea that we can't be hacked. So we weren't hacked. It was an upload. We did it. Womp womp. We're sorry. $60 million is what they're saying that has cost them now in sales. $60 million in sales has walked away from CrowdStrike since their big embarrassing thing. CrowdStrike estimates the tech meltdown has caused by its own bungling, left a $60 million dent in sales. Okay. Again, the headline, and this is they're admitting it. Oh yeah, we're going to lose out on $60 million. We had $60 million in contracts for the next year that are now gone because they don't trust us anymore. And it was just our own doing. No, it wasn't your own doing. You're not as great a security firm as you claim you are. You were hacked, and you can't admit that you were hacked, because if you admit that you were hacked, that's $60 million in new business that you lost, that you're like, oh, shucks, $60 million. That's $60 million that you lost will turn into like $6 billion in current clients who will leave you if it turns out that your bullshit system got hacked. Thank you. So CrowdStrike still out here claiming it was us. Somebody hit the rogue switch. It was very embarrassing. Sure. Whatever helps you sleep at night, CrowdStrike CEO. But I think those out here, we understand what happened. You were targeted by a hacking group because you claimed to be the best security firm out there, and they fucked you up, and you can't admit that because your entire business depends on you not being able to get fucked up. CrowdStrike. Here's a story that we're going to spend a little time on. I want to talk about this one. Sometimes we get these stories where we need to stretch out a little and we need to talk about it, and we need to this is a story that I believe we can all agree on. But there does need to be some nuanced conversation about what led to this. This story comes to us out of Boston, suburbs of Boston. Really nice. I'm looking at these pictures of this place. It looks like an absolutely idyllic Massachusetts suburb. Big giant trees. All the houses are like 200 years old, but rehabbed, but like modern. Just looks beautiful. Probably a rich people neighborhood. It's probably a rich people neighborhood. I think of any neighborhood with trees and like super old houses that look new, I always think that's a $5 million house. This whole neighborhood is super expensive. Let's go to Norwood, Massachusetts. Norwood, Massachusetts. Bored and looking for something to do this summer. Danny Doherty. Really? That's the kid's name? It's a little kid. The kid's name is Danny Doherty. Oh, how cute. Bored and looking for something to do this summer, Danny Doherty hatched a plan to raise money for his brother's hockey team by selling homemade ice cream. Can you see where this is going? Yeah, bureaucracy. Here it comes. But a few days after setting up his ice cream stand in front of his house and serving up vanilla, shaved chocolate, and fluffernutter, Danny, baby, love you, but seriously, terrible, terrible flavor choices. If I'm walking down the street and I see a kid selling ice cream and he says, I got vanilla, I got shaved chocolate, Danny, baby, what the fuck is shaved chocolate? I don't even know what that is. Well, what is that? Is that a fluffernutter? That's your other flavor? Can I interest you in strawberry? Can you maybe just do straight up chocolate? Why not vanilla chocolate? Anyway, from the beginning, I'm seeing problems with Danny's business model. Would it surprise you to learn that Danny also didn't have the proper accreditation from the city? He did not. Danny was an outlaw. He was operating this business like like some Telegram arms dealer. Let's see. A few days after setting up the stand and serving up vanilla, shaved chocolate, and fluffernutter to about 20 people, Danny's family received a letter from the Norwood Board of Health ordering it shut down. Town officials had received a complaint. A complaint. Somebody complained about little Danny Doherty selling Listeria ice cream out of his garage. Somebody complained about that. What's the complaint? Seriously, what is the complaint? It's not safe. I don't know that his kitchen where he's whipping up this ice cream has the proper Board of Health certification. Is that the complaint? What the fuck? What kind of a person sees a little kid, little Danny Doherty across the street selling ice cream? What kind of a person sees that and goes, I got to call 911? Ugh. Anyway, it says here the town officials had received a complaint and said that the 12-year-old's scheme. They're calling it a scheme. This little kid's trying to raise money. Oh, and by the way, he's trying to raise money for his brother's hockey team. More on that coming. ... It says here that the 12-year-old scheme violated the Massachusetts Food Code. Okay. Who said this? I was surprised and upset, he said of the letter that came on August the 5th. I don't understand because there are so many lemonade stands and they don't get shut down. Danny's mom, Nancy Doherty, Nan to her friends, Nan, who had encouraged her son to start the stand as long as he donated half the proceeds to charity, was also taken aback. So mom's even like making him give half the proceeds to charity. The money is supposed to be going, it's already a charity, Mom. Jesus, these people, these good-hearted, normal, salt-of-the-earth American people. Nan out here making her son give half the charity when the whole purpose of the thing is to fund his little brother's hockey team. Look at that. Let's see. Here's what Mom said. Here's what old Nan said. And let me tell you, Nan's a pistol. Somebody complained. That was the most disappointing part for us, was that somebody thought it necessary to complain about a child's stand, she said. It seemed a little, crazy if you ask us. Yeah, it does. It seems really crazy, but didn't have to be. See, because when that idiot calls and complains about an ice cream stand operating illegally in the cul-de-sac, there's someone that answers that phone. And then that person who answers that phone, they become either complicit or the hero of our story. And guess what? The person who answered that phone became complicit. The person who answered that stupid Karen's complaint call actually put some apparatus in motion where now we've got Board of Health people showing up to these people's house and they're receiving threatening letters in the email because a kid, 10-year-old Danny Doherty, is trying to sell ice cream to support his brother's hockey team. What the fuck has happened to America? I mean, this is a normal thing. You see it everywhere. And this is quaint. This is the Norman Rockwell version of this. I grew up in the city. You know what the city version of this? The city version of this is a bunch of little black kids running around the streets of downtown Chicago trying to sell you ice cream bars that are melting or chocolate bars for some, I don't know. It's always like some project. And they're always little black kids. Say what you will. That's racist, Pugs, to point out their skin color. No, it's cute. They're a bunch of little black kids. And they're probably, I think that's because, we're supposed to think, oh, these are poor kids. I don't know. And they try to sell you chocolate bars or ice cream, and the ice cream is never packed, and it's ice cream sandwiches. Look, I'm just going to go out and say it. I think that the ice cream and chocolate are stolen, and I think these kids are just out there selling and pocketing the money. But my point, I still wouldn't complain about that. It's just a bunch of little kids hustling. I got no problem with that. God love you. That's the American way. But not in Massachusetts, no. Here's how the story develops. Rather than give up on his ice cream stand, Danny decided to give away the ice cream. Danny's shifting. Danny is shifting his business model. Rather than give up, Danny decided to give away the ice cream and accept donations for the Boston Bear Cubs. Remember, this is the team. Remember I told you, put a pin in that? We're going to come back and talk about the team that he's trying to raise money for, his brother's team. It's not even his team. This is his brother's team. Brother's little hockey team. They're called the Boston Bear Cubs, and they're a team. They're a hockey team for mentally retarded and autistic kids. Yeah. Yeah. That's, oh my fucking God. The city commissioner who put his name on this, there's a city commissioner in this town. He was all for it. And he's got quotes here in the paper going, well, it's just wrong and we have to enforce the laws. That motherfucker is never going to get another vote in that town. Dumbass bureaucrat. A team, they're selling ice cream in their driveway for his brother's team so that they could raise enough money for equipment, for travel expenses, for a team made up of mentally challenged and autistic children. That's what this is about. Rather than give up, Danny decided to give away the ice cream and accept donations for the Boston Bear Cubs, a team featuring players with physical, mental, and developmental disabilities, including his brother, who is autistic. That's when the neighborhood fundraiser blew up and became the talk of Norwood, Massachusetts. The first day, they gave away ice cream. Supplies ran out in 10 minutes. Well, yeah, free is key, baby. I'll come by and get some sketchy ass shaved chocolate for free. What is shaved chocolate there, Danny Doherty? Let me hear your pitch on it. The first day they gave away the ice cream. Supplies ran out in 10 minutes. $1,000 was raised. Then word began to spread about the fundraiser and Danny's clash with the town. Local media began running stories, prompting scores of local businesses to hold their own fundraisers for the hockey team. This always happens. Where, like, somebody will need $5,000, but it's a good story. So hey man, the morning show gets on it or whatever, the local news, because again, it's a good story. Whatever the details of why they're trying to raise this money, if it pulls a couple of heartstrings, people will get involved and they'll exploit it. What's going on with the screen? How long has this been the case? Ugh. Yeah, no idea. Look at that shit. Oh. This is absurd. Guys, I don't know. This is happening again. I have no idea what's happening with the camera. There we go. Don't know what that was, but hold on. Can I just tell you how much I fucking hate Restream? I hate what they've done. All right, so let's see here. So they raised a whole bunch of money. They raised way more money than they needed. In fact, they raised so much money for this hockey team that it is estimated that the team will now be fully funded for the next decade, 10 years. They raised enough money because some Karen, here, I want to see, there's a quote here from the person in charge, the town commissioner, who is like doubling down on it. Like not like, yes, this was, we probably should have taken a closer look at this and made a more human decision rather than just following the book. Anyway, the town commissioner is a guy who basically, he said, the town commissioner's his whole point is, well, it is illegal. That's his whole point. So that guy's an asshole who should never get another vote in that town. Because even today, it is illegal, though. We didn't do anything wrong. I mean, we were just enforcing the law. Yeah, you were enforcing the law without utilizing common sense. Big thing. You bureaucrats, you never utilize common sense. And maybe you can't. Maybe the system is set up to not reward you if you utilize common sense. But in this case, somebody should have just let the kid sell the ice cream out of the end of his driveway and be done with it. But instead, you made a big deal. And you know what? Maybe it's for the better because the team is now funded for 10 years. There you go. That's the story of a kid's ice cream stand in Newton, Massachusetts. Backpage.com is in the news again. Do you guys remember Backpage.com? Backpage.com hadn't been around for about 10 years. Backpage.com was kind of like I would say a skanky Craigslist, but isn't Craigslist really skanky? I'm unfamiliar with all of these things. Here's how I'm familiar with Backpage. We used to do a radio bit where we used to do ads out of the Backpage. Backpage.com was a classifieds website where you could advertise anything that you wanted. You know, from you're selling a couch to, you know, the newest prostitute in town. And that's the problem. Backpage.com turned into basically a sex trafficking website. And about 10 years ago, the federal government shut it down. And all the people involved with Backpage.com were put on trial. Some of them like super billionaire type dudes. Here we go. Some of them are being sentenced now, all these years later. Backpage.com founder Michael Lacey. This is a 70-something-year-old dude. Michael Lacey has been sentenced to 5 years in prison and fined $3 million for money laundering. Michael Lacey, a founder of the lucrative classified site Backpage.com, was sentenced Wednesday to 5 years in prison and fined $3 million for a single money laundering count in a sprawling case involving allegations of years-long I just hate bad writing. I hate bad journalism. They don't teach it anymore. You don't know how to write. You don't write a news report conversationally. Yet everything's conversational now. Anyway, the dude was sentenced Wednesday to 5 years in prison and fined $3 million for a single money laundering count in a sprawling case involving allegations of years-long scheme. That's not a sentence. Anyway, we're moving on. That's what he did. Backpage guy. He was basically taking ads for prostitutes and putting them online, and people were paying for it. Now, here's the thing. You can say, but this dude, he was the CEO. He had nothing to do with, that kind of stuff. The day-to-day people, they were the ones that were allowing it to happen. Shouldn't they hold some responsibility? Well, yeah, you could say that, except that this dude, Michael Lacey, he was the CEO. But he also had an idea. His idea, and I guess this is what they proved in court, was that he would have a team of people locally at Backpage offices who would then look on other websites for prostitutes, and he would then contact those prostitutes and offer them free ads on his website, Backpage.com. They were able to prove that in court, which then proved that the business model was absolutely dependent on people coming to their site to get illegal sex with women. Anyway, prostitutes were getting free ads. They were going around. They would call you, "Hi, this is Chip from Backpage. I see you're in town for the next 2 weeks. How'd you like a free ad on Backpage.com?" I mean, that's kind of a smoking gun. He knew what he was doing. He doesn't get to claim, "I had no idea what was happening." And you can be like me, and I'm one of these people who thinks that prostitution should be legal. I really don't see that as a crime. I think that the crime, and I think that the negativity and all the bad things about prostitution, I think that they occur because it is illegal, because it is something that has been pushed under the ground. I think that it can be regulated. It can be, but that's immoral. Okay, all right. That's the argument we're going to have. Anyway, I'm not one of these people who is against prostitution. What I am against is all of the other aspects that seem to thrive on Backpage.com, which is sex trafficking. It's a whole bunch of stuff. This is Lawrence Taylor. Do you remember the Lawrence Taylor situation where Lawrence Taylor got busted in a hotel room with an underage girl, a prostitute? He had drugs and all that. I mean, this is going back about 10, 15 years, but that was a girl that he found on Backpage. He went to Backpage.com. He saw a number. He called it. She said, "Come to my hotel room. It'll be X amount of dollars," or however it works. I'm not sure. Maybe there's a middleman. I don't know. But that's kind of how it works. as I understand it. Lawrence Taylor, NFL Hall of Famer, goes to this place. He has sex with the girl. The police bust in. Lawrence Taylor's in trouble. Whoopsie. Turns out the girl's a 16-year-old runaway. Yeah. 16 years old. Lawrence Taylor. I don't think, look, I don't like the New York Giants and I don't like Lawrence Taylor, but I can't really blame him for that. I mean, he didn't know. I don't know that Lawrence Taylor. Look, here's what I blame Lawrence Taylor for. I blame him for being Lawrence Taylor. He's made a lot of bad decisions in his life. But my point is this. I don't think Lawrence Taylor's a pedophile because the prostitute that he bought off Craigslist turned out to be 16. She wasn't advertised as such. I don't know if she looked 16. I don't know. I'm just saying. Anyway, that's the kind of stuff that the back page was really involved in addition to just being a place where sad, lonely dudes with a couple extra bucks in his pocket could go and get laid from some chick, right? That's the shit I got no problem with. There are a lot of sad dudes, man. There are a lot of, man, seriously, you want to get into the prostitution thing? Okay. You guys know this. We all know dudes. We all know really good dudes. Really nice. They have jobs. They're good dudes. Maybe they're a little dorky, okay? Maybe they're a little nerdy. Maybe they're a little socially awkward, whatever. But they're good dudes. They're good dudes. These dudes are supposed to never get laid. Is that really what we're going to pretend? We're going to just pretend that anybody can go out there and get laid if they want. No, there are dudes out there who cannot get laid. There are dudes out there who cannot talk to girls. There are dudes out there who, when they do talk to girls, they are so weird and so awkward that they just get nowhere. So we just fuck these guys? Just, screw those guys? No, if there's a way to allow these dudes to just discreetly, and again, I'm sure they don't want it advertised. I don't know. I just don't understand. The reason that we have all of these problems with sex trafficking and all the violence and the pimping and all that stuff is exclusively because the practice of sex trade is illegal. It has been pushed underground. It has become dangerous. I don't know. And I think it all comes down to what your impression of sex is. Like me, I've talked about this a lot. Sex is an act. Sex is just an act. Sex without love is just an act of instant gratification. That's all it is. I want to feel good. I'm going to do this. That's all it is. It's just an act. So if you're telling me that there's some woman out there who maybe life has held her, life has held her a little bit too close to the fire, and maybe they have, but maybe she's been handed a bad deck of cards, a bad playing hand. Who knows? You're born to a crackhead mom or whatever. You don't really have much. And I'm telling you that there are people out there who begin life behind the 8 ball. And maybe when they're 18, the only thing they have going for them is that they are pretty. And maybe that's the way they get themselves out of this. I just don't see it. Why are we making them walk the streets? Why are we making them work for pimps? Why are we making them? It just seems terrible. It's moral grandstanding. And again, I'm not somebody who does that or would do. I did pretty good. When I was dating, I was okay. All right, and that's not a brag. I had a radio show. The radio show helped. Trust me. My dance card before I had a radio show, when you mix it with the one after the radio show, way better dance card when I had the radio show. So my point is this. Sex is just an act. Why do we criminalize on a moral basis, these things? There's no reason. We've created this entire criminal empire of underground sex simply because we're like, it's wrong. Shut up. Just don't pay attention to it. Should have entire neighborhoods that are just gigantic brothel towns. And they'd be the safest towns in America because they wouldn't fuck with that. They would. Christina says legalism. What is legalism? I don't know. Selling ass on Craigslist, though. You wouldn't need to sell ass on Craigslist. See, this is the whole thing. Just make it legal. Make it legal. Tax it. This is with all of these vice crimes, man. Just tax them. Gambling. Let's have gambling. Why can't we have gambling? Because people can't control themselves. Stop being a nanny. I can control myself. I'm not if you're a gambling addict, then that's a you thing. And we can't be changing what is available to other people here in society simply because of the shortcomings of a few. Oh, you're a gambling addict and it's terrible for you, so the rest of us can't have a casino in downtown Dallas? Fuck you. That's stupid. Weed's another thing. Okay. All right, where are we at here? Back page. So there you go. We talked about back page. What's the next story? Just lost my place on this stupid page again. I'm loving it. I want McDonald's. Got McDonald's on the brain. Okay, a little bit of cleaning up. J-Lo and Ben Affleck. They're the big celebrity divorce of the moment. It's apparently going to be an ugly-ass divorce, which is really strange to me because weren't they only remarried again for like 2 years? And they're both grown-ass adults who brought a whole bunch of their own shit. Why is there an entanglement? It's like J-Lo knew what she had when she showed up. Ben Affleck knew what he had when he showed up. Did they buy a house together? Did they buy 15 houses together? Okay. So just sell them all and cut it down the middle. What is the problem here? They're saying this 2-year J-Lo Ben Affleck thing is going to be a real issue. Oh, also needs to be noted. Earlier in the week, there was a big story going around about Ben Affleck and his new girlfriend. His new girlfriend was reported to be the daughter of RFK Jr., Kathleen Kick Kennedy. They've been seen around. There's pictures in newspapers. And as I said, for a boy from Massachusetts, landing a Kennedy is a very big thing. So I believe it. However, TMZ is now reporting that sources close to Ben Affleck are saying that there is absolutely no relationship whatsoever romantic between he and Kick Kennedy. And yes, they have been seen out together quite frequently in the past few weeks. But Ben Affleck, hot Batman actor Ben Affleck, and hot, super wealthy Kick Kennedy, they're just friends. They're just friends. There's nothing going on there. Yeah, right. Nothing going on there. Here's what I think. I think that there is something going on there, and I think that J-Lo's really pissed. And I think that the fact that it's gone public, that Ben Affleck is running around with a Kennedy, who, as I said yesterday, is actually maybe prettier and younger than J-Lo, I think that probably pisses J-Lo off. And now we've got all kinds of complications with this divorce settlement because J-Lo's got an axe to grind. Didn't I tell you this about her yesterday? Don't fuck with J-Lo. I think J-Lo would be a real difficult person to be around. Ben Affleck, I think he's fine. I think Ben Affleck likes to get drunk and play poker. I think that's pretty much Ben Affleck. I think J-Lo's the problem. Here's an interesting thing. Let me ask you, chat room. What do you think the net worths of these people are? Oh, and don't fucking Google it. And a bunch of you are like, I'm going to Google it. But just play the game with me, you fucks. Jesus. I was shocked. Ben Affleck and J-Lo are not the same. They are monetarily not the same. I mean, Ben Affleck's been Batman in like 3 Batman movies, so that's, you know. Who do you think has more? I mean, I would have been right. Like before I looked at the numbers, I would have been right, but I just didn't think it was this big of a separation. J-Lo has way more, 40 million apiece. 40. Al Gamboa says 40 million. Oh, that's so cute. That is so cute. Their attorney is probably worth 40 million. No, their attorney's probably worth more than that. Dude, J-Lo is worth $500 million. $500 million is what J-Lo is worth. Yeah. She disappears and she goes, plays a world tour in South America and plays to 150,000 people in soccer stadiums for 3 months. We don't ever see it, but guess what? $500 million. $500 million. Ben Affleck is listed at 150. $150 million is the listed net worth for Ben Affleck. J-Lo, by the way, I went with the $500 million just because that sounds more excessive. J-Lo is, depending on the site, she's anywhere between 400 and 500 million. So But yeah, J-Lo's got way more than Ben. So, I mean, what is the problem here? Is Ben trying to get some of that J-Lo money? Is that what's, I mean, what, just walk away. Both of you guys walk away. There you have it. J-Lo and Ben Affleck. What else here? Oh, Oasis. Yeah, this will be the last one we'll do today, folks. Oasis is in the news again. They've been in the news every day this week. Their big concert reunion tour is taking the world by storm. They only announced, I think it was 7 shows. It was London's Wembley Stadium. It was Manchester, and then it was 2 in Ireland. I think one was in Northern Ireland and one was in Dublin. The tour was going to end in Dublin on August the 15th or 16th of next year. Okay. So that was it. It was just 7 shows. We're going to see if we can play together. Liam and Noel Gallagher, they hate each other. They're brothers and they love each other, but then you know what I mean? They don't like to be in the same room. So they're going to see if they can play. They added 7 shows. I said, no way they make it to Dublin. Dublin is the last show. No way. My dream would be to go to that Dublin Oasis show. That would be like if money wasn't an object and I was just like, let's do something this weekend. I would do that. But I'm telling you, there is no way. There's no way they're going to make it to that Dublin show. These 2 guys are going to have a fight after like the 2nd show, and one of them's going to leave, and that's going to be it. That's what I think. However, they've added 3 shows. They have now added, they are expanding their shows. They have added 2 more shows at Wembley Stadium. They were initially slated to play 5 nights. I think it was 4 nights, maybe. 4 nights at Wembley Stadium, all sold out almost immediately. Wembley Stadium. See, this is the thing. Do you think if Oasis came to America, they could sell out AT&T Stadium? I don't know. I think Oasis on a reunion tour is maybe playing American Airlines. They're not playing AT&T. But over there in England, they're playing Wembley, selling it out for 5 nights in a row. And now they've added 2 more shows at Wembley and 1 more show in their hometown of Manchester. Oasis adds 3 more shows to its 2025 tour as fans clamor for tickets to see the Gallagher brothers reunion. All right, there you have it. I don't know. They're just making money. I was on with James last night. James Parker at WBAP, and we were talking about the Oasis reunion. And James is a really smart guy, but sometimes I'm like, what? How do you not know that? Like James put out there, it's like, they must need money. And I'm like, dude, they do not need money. This is not the Gallagher brothers going, we haven't done anything in a couple of years. We just need money. These guys are worth hundreds of millions of dollars. I don't know if they have J-Lo money, but they certainly have Ben Affleck money. Both of them do. Actually, maybe not both of them. Maybe not both of them. And that might be a reason why they don't like each other. I think that Noel, the guitar playing older brother, who's the songwriter and founder of the band, I think that Noel might have the publishing. Is that a problem? Because Liam, the other brother, is just the lead singer. And if he doesn't have publishing on all those songs, that means he was just paid once. He was paid once. He doesn't really get any of the publishing. That all goes to his brother, Noel. I don't know. Anyway, they're worth a lot of money. James was like, they must need the money. I'm like, dude, they do not. They do not need the money. They're doing it. Here's why I think they're doing it. They're doing it because they want to be high-profile celebrities again. Because they recognize that it's been 2009, I think, was the last time they played when they had a big blow up on stage. And they're like, we're not playing together anymore. Since then, they've been living the life of the retired gentleman, the gentleman rock star with the country manor house. But now we live in an age of social media. So they've both been very, very high profile on social media, as both of them are incredibly funny and they shit talk on everybody. They're just really funny. And that's why it's cool that they're getting back together. Anyway, here's what I think it is. I think they want to be superstar famous again. I think that after like this many years, there is a longing to once again be on stage in front of 100,000 people, screaming your name, owning them in the palm of your hand. That's a very intoxicating lure. That's why I think they're doing it. I think they just wanted... Noel Gallagher has a side project, the High Flying Birds. And I like Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds a lot. I think they're a really great band. They are different than Oasis. And unfortunately, if you were to go see Noel Gallagher and his High Flying Birds, you'd probably see him at a bar. You might see him at a big bar. It might be a bar that seats 500 people, but you're seeing that band in a bar. I think Noel Gallagher wants to be playing soccer stadiums again. I think he's like, let's just do it for a summer. We're getting older. We're like going to be 60 years old. Let's play soccer stadiums one more time. Let's see if we can't do what the Stones have done. So I'm all for it. All right, guys, that's going to do it. Once again, I'd love to thank Cam and Peter, today's executive producers of the show. We love you guys. Let's see. Electro Outcast says, I think one of them had a high divorce bill, from what I've heard. I'm guessing if either of them do have some kind of money issue, I'm guessing that it's probably Liam, again, the lead singer. Hold on. Okay. All right. Here you go. All right. So we've got the net worth of both of them. All right. So now, again, this isn't Ben Affleck or J-Lo money, but it's close. 57-year-old Noel. He's the singer-songwriter. He has an estimated net worth of $100 million US. All right. So there you go. So Noel is worth $100 million. This is significantly more than his younger brother Liam, whose net worth is reported to be around $15 million. Yeah. All right. But you can still, dude, are you kidding me? 15 million, you're rich for the rest of your life. 15 million is fuck you money for most normal people, right? But I guess when you're constantly I mean, he's a rich rock star. He's $15 million. He's doing fine. But I think that when your whole life is defined by your battle with your big brother, and you look at your big brother and he's worth 100 million and you're worth 15. Yeah, maybe that does bug you. Anyway, hey, you didn't write the songs. Liam, you didn't write the songs. Liam, you know what you did? Here's what you did, Liam. You got drunk. You started fights, you got arrested, you caused problems, and you're probably one of the 5 greatest front men of the past 25 years. That was your contribution. You know what your brother did? He read books, he wrote songs, he hunkered in a studio, and he actually owned the publishing. There you go. That's the difference. That's all. So don't hate your older brother. You had a lot of fun. Which one was with Patsy Kensit? You remember Patsy Kensit? Patsy Kensit was an actress back. Let's check in with Patsy Kensit, shall we? Patsy, which one was she with? She was with somebody. Hold on. Patsy Kensit. She was an English actress. I think that she was maybe she was a Bond girl at some point. That's Liam. All right, there you go. So Liam, here you are. All right, so Liam was with Patsy Kensit. They were like a hot couple back in the 90s. There you go. All right, so there it is. There's Liam, and there's Patsy Kensit. You were living large back then with Patsy Kensit, and you know your brother probably married some girl he went to high school with, and you're out there in clubs with Patsy Kensit. You're worth $15 million today. Your brother, $100 million. Or are these the Oasis women? All right, so here's Liam with Patsy. I'm almost positive that this is Sacha Baron Cohen, but we'll move forward. Here's Noel. Who's Noel with? I don't know who that is. She's not bad. Who's this? Here's Noel again. Who's this? This is not Oasis quality. I don't know what he's doing here. She seems nice. This is a woman who is married to a cop, okay? This is not a woman who is married to Noel Gallagher from Oasis. I'm just saying. All right. Kevin says this is only happening because Noel says it can. Liam would have done it at any time. Noel holds all the cards. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. I mean, he's worth almost 10 times what his brother is. So yeah, he does hold all the cards. And this is Noel. That's a very interesting way to look at this whole thing. I think that Kevin is probably right. I think that Noel Gallagher, this is the olive branch. I think that Noel Gallagher looked at his brother Liam and went, I hate my dumb little brother, but hey, you want to do this? And he was like, yeah, let's do it. The irony of this whole thing is that it will be Liam who blows it all up. It will be Liam who does something. And it's not just like Liam's going to do it and Noel's going to just be like, well, I can't do this anymore. No, Noel is going to contribute to it. But Liam will do something mid, not minor, not major. Liam will do something mid. Noel will handle it so poorly that it turns into a massive thing, and that's what'll happen. That's what'll happen. Most bands could have weathered the antics of a Liam Gallagher. Most bands would just go, well, he's our lead singer, he's an asshole, we'll bail him out of jail and we'll move on to the next town. That's how most bands would have looked at it. But that's not how Oasis looked at the antics of Liam, because the older brother, Noel, was in the band, and it was far more personal to him. All right. Electric Outcast says, you might not remember me, but I used to call your show when I lived in Gulfport, Mississippi in the early 2000s. You're that Electric Outcast. My guy. How are you, brother? I mean, I'm kidding. I don't remember that, but I do love that you do. That's real cool to me. So thank you. That's going to do it, folks. Let's wrap it up. Okay. Big football night. I got to get my head right. I'm not doing anything, but my son is, and I'm a little bit nervous, but that's okay. He's going to be fine because, as I said, he's got this stoic, athletic, competitive gene from his mother. And that is going to win the day. Not me, not the frazzled mind thinking a million different things. I'm not good under pressure. I am not, with 1 second left on the clock, don't put me at the free throw line. I am not going to make that shot. I promised you I'm not going to make that shot. I'm going to be thinking way too much about how there's no way I'm going to make that shot. And then when it comes time to take the shot, I'm not going to make the shot. Here's hoping my kid can make the shot. All right, we'll see you back here tomorrow for more of the Rant. We do this every day live from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios in the beautiful E Gallery in Dallas's fantastic design district. I am Pug Moran. Can't even get my name right. I was rolling too. I was like, boom. I was like, bam, 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 bam. I was rolling. I am Pugs Moran. We are RadioMisfits.com, or more specifically, Radio Misfits Dallas. Bye, everybody. Love you. Bye.